Welcome to Just for a Prediction. So today we're going to proceed looking at the solution of accounts paper 2 of 2016, and specifically today we're going to be looking at question 3. So question 3a reads, explain the following errors that are not reviewed by a trial balance. Loma numero 1, error of omission. Loma numero 2, error of principle. So we're going to start with Loma numero 1, error of omission. So error of omission occurs where a transaction is completely omitted from the books of accounts. For example, a payment of 450 kwacha cash to Mulenga was completely omitted from the books. So let's just write that definition down. So error of omission occurs where a transaction is completely omitted from the books of accounts. So that's the definition of error of omission. So error of omission occurs where a transaction is completely omitted from the books of accounts. And I gave an example. So I said, for example, a payment of 450 kwacha to Mlenga was completely omitted from the books. So let us look at Loma numero 2, error of principle. Error of principle occurs where a transaction is entered in a wrong class of account. For example, a purchase of motor vehicle to the purchases account. So recording a purchase of motor vehicle to the purchases account, that can be referred to as error of principle. So let us write down the definition. So we have error of principle. So occurs where a transaction is entered in a wrong class of account. So that's the definition. And I said, for example, recording a purchases of motor vehicle to the purchases account. Let us continue looking at the question. So let us look at question B. Question B reads, Mushiangelu prepared the trial balance on 31st December 2014 and found that the credit side showed a total of 44,000 kwacha more than the debit column. A suspense account was opened to make up the difference. Some days later, he discovered the following errors in his books. So Loma numero 1, a sales day book had been undercast by 30,000 kwacha. Loma numero 2, a purchase of goods costing 42,000 kwacha from Kalumbila was entered correctly in the purchase day book but was wrongly posted in K. Kalumbila's account as 24,000 kwacha. Loma numero 3, the purchase of new fixtures and fittings costing 39,000 kwacha for business use had been debited to the purchases account. Loma numero 4, a payment by check of 8,500 kwacha to a creditor P. Fulaka had been posted to the wrong side of his account, although it was correct in the bank account. Loma numero 5, a sales ledger balance of 75,000 kwacha for Kengulula had been omitted from the trial balance figure. Then required Loma numero 1, prepare the journal entries necessary to collect the above entries. Narrations are not required, 10 marks. Loma numero 2, write up the suspense account and balance it. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to start by preparing the journal entry. So we know that that's our Roman numeral 1. We can write up our title there. So we have Mushangelu's journal, and let us write down the format. So in the first column, we're going to have our date. In the second column, we're going to have our details. Third column, we're going to have folio. There we're going to have our debit and our credit. And we know that the currency that we are using is kwacha, so we can put a K on the debit side and a K on the credit side. So let us look at Roman numeral 1. So a sales day book had been undercast by 30,000 kwacha. And we know that for the sales day book, the sales day book actually has a credit balance. So here you can say debit, credit, and we know that the sales day book always has a credit balance, and that means that the undercast there was not shown on the credit side. So we're going to record 30,000 on the credit side. And since this was only affecting the sales day book, which means we need to record suspense on the debit side. So let us write that one down. So we can say Roman numeral 1 there. I've said we're going to credit sales and we're going to debit suspense. So we can say suspense, we're going to debit with 30,000, and sales there, since it was an undercast, we're going to credit 30,000. Let us look at Roman numeral 2. Roman numeral 2 reads, a purchase of goods costing 42,000 from Kalumbila was entered collectory in the purchases day book. So in the purchases day book, it was just entered collectory, but was longly posted to K Kalumbila's account as 24,000. And since the goods were bought from K Kalumbila, that means that the goods were going out of K Kalumbila's business. So in K Kalumbila's, you can just say K Kalumbila, and K Kalumbila's account there, we know that is supposed to have credit balance there. So we have debit and credit there. Since the goods were bought from K Kalumbila, that means that it's supposed to have a credit balance. But it was long posted as 24,000 in K Kalumbila's account. That means that we need to take it to 42. We need to take it to 42,000. And for us to take it to 42,000, the difference between 42,000 and 24,000, and the difference there is 18,000. So we are supposed to credit 18,000 to K Kalumbila's account, and we're going to debit 18,000 to the suspense account. So let us write that one down. So Roman numeral 2, we're going to say suspense 18,000 on the debit side, and in K Kalumbila's account, since it was long posted as 24,000, it's supposed to go now to 42,000. So we can say K Kalumbila on the credit side there as 18,000. Let us look at Roman numeral 3. Roman numeral 3 reads, the purchase of new fixtures and fittings costing 39,000 kwacha for business use had been debited to the purchases account. So this type of error, that's an error of principle, where an amount is posted to the wrong class of account. So this type of error is not going to affect the trial balance, but we're going to show it in the journal entry there. And how we are going to show it there, since we purchased a new fixtures and fittings, that means that we can put here So here we have fixtures and fittings. For the fixtures and fittings account, if we have our debit there and if we have a credit, that means we need to debit that amount to fixtures and fittings as 39,000. And to collect that transaction, that means in the purchases account, if this is the purchases account, so we have the purchases account there. So we have our debit and our credit. Since it is recorded on the debit side, it's supposed to record it on the credit side for it to be cancelled out. So let us record that. So fixtures and fittings, we're going to debit fixtures and fittings with 39,000 there. Then for the purchases account, we're going to credit there 39,000. Let us look at another transaction. So Loma numero 4 reads a payment by check of 8,500 kwacha to a creditor P Fulaka. So P Fulaka was a creditor, had been posted to the wrong side of the account, although it was collect in the bank account. So a payment by check of 8,500 to a creditor P Fulaka had been posted to the wrong side of his account. So let us show that. So here we have P Fulaka. So this is the creditor, and this creditor was paid by check, but it was long reposted to his account. That means it was posted to the credit side. But in the normal case, you're supposed to post it on the debit side. Since P Fulaka was receiving the check was receiving the money, that and for us to show the amount on the debit side there, we're going to say 8,500 there multiplied by 2, and our answer there is going to be 17,000. So which means we're supposed to debit 17,000 kwacha in P Fulaka's account, and we're going to credit 17,000 kwacha to the Suspense account. So Loma numero 4 there, we're going to have P Fulaka. So P Fulaka, we have 17,000. Then the Suspense has 17,000. Let us look at the other transaction. So Loma numero 5, a sales ledger balance of 75,000 for Kengulula had been omitted from the trial balance. And here we can see that Kengulula was receiving amount of goods worthy 75,000, but that was not entered and it was omitted from the trial balance. And we can show that entry in his account. And since he was receiving 75,000 worthy of goods, that means that we're supposed to debit that figure. So we're supposed to debit 75,000 in his account, and the Suspense account there, we're going to credit 75,000. So let us show that. So we have 5 there. We have Kengulula there. We have 75,000 on the debit side. Then for the Suspense, we're going to put it on our credit side. So we are done with the journal entry of Musha Ngelu's account. Let us look at Roman numeral 2, write up the suspense and balance it. So before we write up the suspense, let us look at the information that we have been given. So Mushangelu prepared a trial balance on 31st March 2014 and found that the credit showed a total of 44,000. So showed a total of 44,000 kwacha more than the debit column. A suspense account was open to make up the difference. So this is what we know. So this means that 44,000 kwacha, that difference is supposed to be posted to the debit side of the suspense account. That's the first thing that we know. And before we go to the suspense account, from the journal entries there, we need to identify the transactions that were affected by the suspense. So Roman numeral 1 there, we have the suspense there, so we can tick that. So we have Roman numeral 1, we have Roman numeral 2 there, we have Roman numeral 4 and 5. So these transactions, they're going to help us in drawing the suspense account. Let us put our title there. So the title there, we have Mushangelu's suspense account, and let us draw our format. So for the format, in the first column, we're going to have date, second column details, third column folio. You're going to have our debit and our credit there. The currency that we are using is kwacha, so we can put it there. So the first thing that we're going to record, we're going to record the difference as per trial balance, and the difference as per trial balance we have been given as 44,000, and 44,000 is supposed to be shown on the debit side. So we are going to, in our details there, we can say difference as per trial balance. So difference as per trial balance, and difference as per trial balance, it was 44,000 kwacha, and this is supposed to be shown on the debit side. So let us look at the journal entries and look at the transactions that were affected by the suspense. So I said that the first one was affected by the suspense there, and we know that sales. And on how you record in the suspense account, so we are going to get this amount that is on the debit side, 30,000, but in our details in the suspense account, we're going to record sales. So let me show you what I'm saying. So there we're going to record our sales there, and we know that in Roman numeral 1, suspense was recorded on the debit side. So in our details, we're going to put our sales, and here we're going to record our 30,000 on the debit side. Let us look at another transaction. So even Roman numeral 2 was affected by the suspense. It is on the debit side as 18,000. So we're going to record K Kalumbila as in our details there. Then we are going to debit 18,000. So we have K Kalumbila. So we're going to debit 18,000. The other transaction that is affected is Roman numeral 4 of P Fulaka, and the suspense account is shown on the credit side. So in our details there, we're going to say P Fulaka, and since the balance is on the credit side, we're going to record on the credit side as 17,000. Let us look at other transaction. So for Roman numeral 4 there, the balance is on the credit side. So in our details, we're going to put K Ngulula there. In the balance, we're going to show it on the credit side at 75,000. Then from this, we can see that we are done drawing up the suspense account. So when finding the totals, make sure that the debit column and the credit column, or the debit total and the credit total, are going to be the same. So we are going to add 44,000 plus 30,000 plus 18,000. Our answer there is going to be 92,000. Then let us add up the credit side. So we only have 17,000 plus 75,000, and the answer there is 92,000. So as you can see, the debit side has balanced with the credit side, and you can say the suspense account there is correct. So that's how you can write up the journal entry and the suspense account. So where you have questions on this same question, you can put them in the comment section. And I just want to let you know that our online tuitions are available each and every month, and we provide the following subjects: physics, chemistry, math, biology, and accounts. We also sell some past papers with answers in both video form and in PDF form. We also sell some specific books. We also sell some full topics videos. So for you to know more, make sure you check the description section of this video, or you can text me on WhatsApp on 1973023620. I'll meet you next time. Peace and God bless.